is my honor to present to you Clark Blaise, teacher, literary arts advocate, and award-winning author. Mr. Clark Blaise has played a huge role in the development of creative writing programs at Concordia University and across North America. Born in the United States to Canadian parents, Mr. Blaise earned an MFA from the University of Iowa in 1964. Soon thereafter, he joined Concordia, then Sir George Williams, where he founded the creative writing program. Au cours des années suivantes, à titre de professeur et de directeur de programme, il a influencé de nombreux jeunes écrivains, dont beaucoup ont ensuite fait leur marque dans le monde de lettres et de l'éducation. Issues of Canadian identity have been central to Mr. Blaise's work. In his words, nearly everything I've written touches on that notion that Canada is a distinct society with a distinct history and tastes and great accomplishments. His fiction explores the complex conditions of displacement and alienation with characters navigating in a foreign culture and place. His many previous tributes include an Arts and Letters Award for Literature from the American Academy in 2003 and an honorary doctorate from McGill University in 2004. He was named an officer of the Order of Canada in 2010. Since 2002, Mr. Blaise has been president of the Society for the Study of the Short Story. Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of Senate and the Board of Governors, it is my privilege and honor to present to you Mr. Clark Blaise so that you may confer upon him the degree of Doctor of Literature, honoris causa.
Now my pleasure to invite Dr. Blaise to make his convocation address. Dr. Blaise.
It's a great day for all of us. When I began teaching creative writing 47 years ago at Sir George Williams University and then at Concordia, I was younger than many of my students. That's how we did it in those years. We taught young students by day and older employed students by night. It was both a teaching and learning experience for me, and I apologize to any in the visitors gallery who suffered through those early years when I aspired to be a literary theorist, even more than a simple short story writer. Of course, Alice Munro has taught the world, and especially Canadians, that the apparently simple short story is a richly complicated invention. My inner theorist, however, never died. So in the spirit of convocation speakers for the past 1,000 years, I'll offer some theoretical observations and at least one practical bit of precaution. One of the theories I'm fond of, though hardly original with me, is the notion that all the arts, visual, kinetic, literary, oral, turn on a heightened sensitivity to energy. Even the beginning artist is irresistibly attracted to energy. Implicit energy of language, of color, of form, of sound, of movement. He or she sees in the simplest objects, in the blandest speech. Yet if she or he does not learn to pour energy into a mold of form or control its shape and its flow, energy alone will result in higher forms of incoherence. The heightened response to energy is artistic, it is scientific, it is economic, it is athletic. Consider the eloquent history of two teacups. One is empty, perhaps a crescent of lipstick flecks its rim, or not, it doesn't matter. The other is half full, but cool to the touch. No one's around. The poet, the writer, the painter feels the energy, the power of inanimate objects, and imagines a drama of an hour earlier. Was there an argument? Did half full storm out, leaving crescent mug to finish her tea alone? Any number of interpretations are possible, and by reverse engineering, we may even get back to a true reading of the events an hour earlier. Maybe nothing happened. So much depends, as William Carlos Williams may have said, on unwashed teacups. Alice Munro might have written it. Edward Hopper might have painted it, or Chekhov set it to drama. Every morning I rise early to make tea for my wife and me. We have 3 mugs, one inscribed simply Quebec, that I bought for 25 cents in a flea market in Southampton, Long Island. The second, called Pittsburghese, prints several words or pronunciations used only by people from Pittsburgh, which was bought for me 20 years ago by our older son when he was shooting a movie in Pittsburgh. The third, Muscular Skeleton, is the name of a journal published by the University of Iowa's Muscular Dystrophy Clinic, which was sent to me by the clinic's director. 3 mugs, rotating for our tea, yet I feel if any of them should crack, my heart would crack too. And any 2 of them placed together are worth a novel. The Quebec mug recalls the fact that I am a child of Quebec. My parents met and married in Montreal. I was conceived in 1939 Montreal, but delivered in 1940 North Dakota. My father was born and raised in a Quebec village east of here, and a dozen of his brothers and sisters are buried in the church cimetière. Of his 17 brothers and sisters, 12 died before the 8th grade. All died from waterborne diseases because they lived on the septic shore of a lake and a river that flooded the woods and facilitated the floating out of logs. But that was a different century, the 19th, and besides, that village, as he and I knew it, has been erased from the face of the earth. It is called Lac Mégantic. And many's the day my father and I sat on benches at the lakeside as he unrolled stories about my grandfather, Achille Blaise, a log walker in summer, a skater in winter. But I was a high school boy in Pittsburgh, and undoubtedly I spoke that ghastly local dialect. And my older son, who bought that mug from me 20 years ago in Pittsburgh when he was a cameraman, is also the source of the 3rd mug, the Muscular Skeletal. He is now wheelchair-bound from muscular dystrophy, a direct inheritor of my much less obvious genetic dystrophy burden, but a clear denominator of our Quebecois identity, since myotonic muscular dystrophy on this continent is an ethno-specific marker of Frenchness. And here's my bit of practical advice. If your ancestry in whole or part is New World French, Quebecois, Cajun, or Cajun, Métis, a simple cheek swab might save you and your children a world of pain. And the runaway train that excavated the heart of Lac Mégantic, that killed 47 people in the dead of night and melted those concrete benches. One elderly woman I heard in an interview saved herself by jumping into the lake following the shouted command, "C'est le bout du monde, cours vers le lac." The tank cars were loaded with crude oil pumped from the newly discovered fields in my native state of North Dakota. Only in the most outrageously overplotted novel could one character experience, in his lifetime, his native North Dakota crude oil destroy his ancestral village in southeastern Quebec. Such a ridiculous coincidence must truly make the writing god hang her head. Murderous, incoherent energy in its rawest form, unmitigated by shape or purpose. And so this is a convocation parable. Be alert to energy, but capture it. It's everywhere. Find it and embrace it in whatever field you choose. It will sustain you, but it can burn you up. Draw upon the energy, even the energy of inanimate objects, inert teacups. They're trying to communicate. Energy comes first, but it's the power to contain it that comes later and must be learned. It's what you've learned in your Concordia years. It's what we've all been trying to teach. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blaise, for that extremely moving convocation address. I think we'll remember it for some time. I know that Clark was in Lac-Mégantic earlier this week, and he spoke of his experience there as well. I think his allegory of the three mugs and of energy is also, in many ways, inspirational. You know, when he was a young man, a young professor, Clark had the energy, the audacity to believe that writing could be taught and made and developed through the creation of the creative writing program at the time at Sir George University. And I think you'll all agree that because of the energy that he put and the passion he put in that conviction, that we're all beneficiaries today of the community of writers and men and women who've emerged here in Montreal and also elsewhere in the world thanks to work he did at Concordia, and in so doing have enriched our lives. So on your behalf, thank you again for a great speech. Thank you.